Hello everyone, I'm going to be watching another video essay of Sovietwomble's DayZ when early access goes too far. The only thing I know about the DayZ mod, I mean after playing it, the only thing that I've seen about it is Totalbiscuit, I think, had an interview with Dean Hall about it in the WTF is DayZ. I'm gonna link that video. It's a very informative video, and yeah, rip Totalbiscuit, but yeah, that video was basically what got me back into DayZ and looking into not just Arma 2 DayZ mod again, and actually looking into the Arma 3 DayZ mod. And yeah, I've been a fan of Arma in general, but again, like he was in military and he wanted to give this idea out, and he was actually a Bohemia dev as well, so that's actually pretty amazing, and it got me into it. But yeah, let's see what Soviet's gonna say about it, because the standalone DayZ, I never could get into it. It's just not fun, because Arma 2.1 had everything. Not the graphical things that I wanted, not the realism to some degree, but like it was really good. But even in Arma 3, even in the DayZ standalone, there is the animations, everything, the boredom is still there, but I think it's quite good now. But again, every time I go there, it's like reviews are mixed. Steam says like it's mostly positive, but again, like it's like pretty much mixed. But yeah, let's go into kind of 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello internet, it's me, Soviet. You know, the guy who turns up in your YouTube notifications once a blue moon to drop some gaming video with text all over it to remind you once again that he's still alive, before disappearing once again to drink honeyed whiskey and procrastinate. So here I am on the channel presenting something different.
No problem.
Holy shit. Okay, some context. Before time was time. No, a few years back, around about the time that I finished the last horror video, I think it was Monstrum, I told my patrons that I was looking to try my hand at doing a different format to see what people think. Something alongside the bullshitteries to complement them. And I, like many people, am a really big fan of video essays. Particularly video essays that teach me something I know little about, like film structure or screenplays or stage productions. And I was hoping to take a crack at doing one myself. That became something of a running joke amongst my patrons and Twitch subs, because it did not go swimmingly, actually, at all. I quickly discovered that editing video essays, good ones anyway, is really hard, and I would steal 2 weeks
not
here,
for you.
3 weeks there.
Okay, I understand it's very hard, but I still don't know, because he's a perfectionist, so he needs to do everything himself. He needs to be on that fucking like on top of everything and observe everything that is happening and is going to come out. Because I watched some of his streams, and the way he talks about these videos is like, holy shit, he has a problem with his like minginess about his perfection. But again, I understand that the way he wants to edit is on par with some of the best YouTubers around. So
usually between the bullshittery compilations to try and make something I hoped you'd end up enjoying. I'd show my first draft to the patrons, get some feedback, adjust, re-edit, rewrite, etc. And it's one of the reasons that I seem to disappear for so long sometimes. It's not that a single bullshittery took 10 weeks. It's that there's probably another video in there that never went public, be it a video essay or a cartoon or something, because it wasn't ready, or I didn't think it was any good. And it became a sort of running joke, because, well, the patrons kind of doubted I'd ever finish any of it. And honestly, who could blame them? My track record isn't great. So this is what this is. This is a side project that has miraculously made it to the channel. So, yay?
Amazing.
Video essays. The format is well
I love it so
represented
far.
now. A video that is structured much like a written essay, advancing an argument or analysing a point. So what is my discussion point? What is it I would like to talk about? Well, if it isn't obvious from the title, DayZ. I want to talk about DayZ.
Please do.
DayZ is a mod, an extremely fascinating mod that I am, for reasons that I hope to sell you on, completely enamored by. It's a zombie survival mod.
That was Arma 2 original DayZ.
For the military simulation game Arma 2, and it turned that game into a creepy open world sort of 28 days later, with players connecting to a wide open map overrun by zombies attracted to noise
be careful.
called Zeds. This channel kind of started with the DayZ mod, and I would go so far as to say I'm
Did
its
it?
*1 fan.
I haven't
Hashtag
seen a
fight me.
DayZ
And even
bullshit
if you're not
yet.
into gaming, it presents
Wait,
a really
did he play the actual Arma 2 DayZ and made bullshitteries out of it? Why is no one recommending those videos?
interesting
Give me the
success
titles
story,
in the
I think.
fucking comments.
It's a mod that catapulted the 3-year-old game that it runs on right back to the top of the Steam sales for like months, and it launched a tidal wave of similar products.
Yeah, Poach. Origins. Stomping Lang. Oh, that's a shit game. Rust Ark, 7 Days to Die. Oh my god, H1Z1. Holy shit, that's that's a graveyard of fucking shit over shit. H1Z1, I was so fucking hyped for that, and I actually have the. And right now, I don't know how many are there. How many like different? They just splitted the game so many times and combined them again, and so I didn't really give a shit about the battle royale thing about it, but the fucking I don't even know. Now it's like Just Survive, I think. I don't know.
Revealing a huge market of customers who continue to be an influence on more recent development trends. The rise of the survival sandbox, not necessarily invented by the DayZ mod, but certainly popularized by it, is perhaps analogous to, say, if tomorrow Hollywood discovered noir, something brand new, an entirely new creative language to draw from, to be expanded upon and tweaked by thousands of different creators to figure out what works and what doesn't. An entirely new form of creative expression that emphasized, in open world survival at least, an absence of structure, an absence of rules, of objectives, of a code of conduct, a correct and expected way to play. Survival games, particularly multiplayer ones, and especially DayZ, thrive in the ambiguity of the gameplay, the absence of a clear path. It's not simply about managing in-game survival health bars like food and water, but how the existence of those bars and the scarcity of the things that you need to satisfy them often ends up with you making uncomfortable, unscripted choices.
Yeah, like killing other people.
It puts you in tense situations
Scum.
that are emergent. That is
wait, that's not Scum? Wait, is that DayZ? Are you serious?
Say, without the developer having...
You never run like this in DayZ. Maybe this is the DayZ standalone, or maybe this is what? Are you serious?
This atmosphere can be intensely immersive.
Oh yeah, that zombie animation, yeah, this is fucking DayZ mod, yeah.
And it can be a genre of incredible heroics and staggering cruelty, where the concepts of good and bad, so easily quantified and numerically represented in so many other games, can seem so antiquated and juvenile. And also, that lack of structure means well, nobody's holding your hand in an industry that's all too eager to coddle players and claim that any toxicity is bad.
Yeah, those games can be extremely difficult for people to get into, people who are not really familiar with them. That's why many people just don't even try them. And nowadays, I really doubt that any people who were born in the late 20s are like even gonna give it a chance. Anyone who, I'm asking you, any of you who is 20 or under 20 have ever played DayZ, the mods, and DayZ, or any Arma 3 mod, or actually played a standalone DayZ by Bohemia? If you played, please tell me about it in the comment section. How long did you play it? How did you get into it? Did Sovietwomble introduce you to it? How much are you planning to play it, or you are already finished with that game and started a new something else? Please tell me, because I want to know what the younger people actually are experiencing and what is their addiction. At least in the gaming area.
One must play with each other and get along in the matchmaking circle, or have the player a passive observer in a fairground ride, pulled from one carefully crafted cutscene to the next. Survival games, more often than not, treat people like adults, giving them all the control within a very community-driven setting. It's a refreshing feeling, especially with the gaming industry right now. And the genre also does a fantastic job of capturing that sense of melancholy that is often so hard to get.
Is this Desperados. No, it's what is this?
Right, when depicting
I remember this.
post-apocalyptic fiction, so often
remember
undercut in other games by
Fallout,
smothering the player in structured quests with levels and waypoints. God, fuck waypoints. Comparatively, in survival sandboxes, nothing is guaranteed. Your survival is not guaranteed. Your fun is not guaranteed.
Your
You don't
loot
know
is not
what's beyond
guaranteed.
the next hill over. Could be nothing but empty wilderness, or 4 players waiting to ambush you. And there's something I want to talk about more specifically, rather than just going into a multi-hour-long tongue-bathing session about how awesome the DayZ mod was. Because something more interesting happened afterwards. Something that has itself spawned numerous video essays and critiques over the years. A chorus that these videos will no doubt join. And that is, the DayZ standalone was developed. The DayZ standalone is an attempt by the company that created Arma 2, called Bohemia Interactive, to make a standalone fully working version of the DayZ mod, bringing aboard the mod's original...
Yeah, this motherfucker. Brilliant. I love him. And yeah, he go watch that video if you haven't, by Totalbiscuit, John Bain. WTF is DayZ. He literally does an interview with him, and he talks deeply about how he came up with the idea actually.
And the talent behind Arma 2, plus some decent funding to turn an often broken mod into an official game.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, that process was far from smooth sailing. If you clicked on this in your related videos feed, you're probably well aware of the DayZ standalone and the frustration surrounding it. How the development times seemed extreme, and the features in it wildly deviated from what many expected, and how overall reception was mixed to negative. There have already been many what went wrong with, what happened, why the standalone fails type videos.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, listen, the problem was after the failure of Rust, when Rust had zombies back in the day when I was playing it. Rust had zombies. Rust, one of the main aspects was some of the PvE, and I wanted something with zombies. When we got into zombies, when we got to Rust with our friends, with my friends, some of them at least, we were enjoying it. Even though it was a bit broken, the zombie element was not really good. We were still enjoying it because we wanted a zombie game. We used to play Call of Duty Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. The zombie mods was our lives back then. Weirdly, I never tried 7 Days to Die back then because no one really told me and my friends, because if we knew that game existed back then, it existed, we would have had so much fun, but we didn't. There was no marketing for that game. I didn't see it anywhere. But yeah, after they removed it, they came to the new engine. They made the game so much better. Rust right now it feels to me like a complete game, and it has modding system. It has server only mods, client only mods, and it's quite fucking good. But again, it removed zombies, so my love for it decreased immensely after they just said, "Fuck it, we're gonna just remove zombies. Fuck it."
I'm certain that I will retread much of that ground.
I hate that.
But I've always felt that the existing video essays on the DayZ standalone really touched upon some of the core aspects of it. I would find myself consuming many of these over the years, and it surprised me how surface level some of them were. So many
How deep are you
focused
gonna
on
go?
the superficial and the easily fixable problems, whilst ignoring the things that are worth talking about. Things that should be immediately obvious to, insert no true Scotsman fallacy, true fans of DayZ, which is when I realised, since many of them outright say so, a lot of the people critiquing it had never actually played the DayZ mod, and further, many of them were talking about aspects of software development with no experience in it. That kind of irked me. The narrative on YouTube was often, but not always, being created by people who just didn't know what on earth they were talking about, and as the being created by people who just
Okay, I don't know any of these channels.
Didn't know what on earth they were talking about. And as the self-proclaimed #1 DayZ mod fan, #FightMe, and as someone who has spent 10 years in software QA, and who is looking for a topic to edit into a video essay, I think I found a good place to start.
Okay.
So, here we are. Amazingly late to the party. Long after everyone has moved on and forgotten about it. Let's talk
no
about
problem.
the DayZ standalone.
Just keep going,
Strap
man.
the fuck in. Title
I am
screen
ready.
Transition 1. Oh.
Early access.
Early
Yeah.
access, for those who are not familiar, concerns the release or limited release of a piece of software to customers earlier than it would be otherwise, typically as part of an open or closed beta, with the customers able to provide feedback for the development team, highlight bugs, check in-game balance, and that sort of thing. And from about
True.
2010 onwards, it would become a pretty standard practice, the
Yes.
new norm in many cases. Hell, there are so many
I
examples.
think Cyberpunk and fucking what was the other game? Fucking No Man's Sky should have been early accesses when they came out. That way, they were not going. They weren't going to be bashed as many times as they did when they came out as AAA fucking games. I'm
Examples
just
that take
saying.
forever to list. Game titles that have been released in a very basic state, with the developers, either successfully or not, patching the thing to completion. Minecraft made an impression, for one man with a good idea was able to build up a team and monetize and build it bigger before iteratively and successfully developing it up and up and
One of
up
the
into
most
the
popular
monolith
games
that it is
ever.
today, selling at least 176 million copies. And I'm mentioning early access here because, well, a lot of the problems with modern gaming, survival games specifically, and the DayZ standalone explicitly, concern the
Okay, he goes over it so fast. Minecraft just didn't sell that much. Minecraft sold that much. Then the Minecraft got sold way higher. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, that Notch made so much bank on that game, and it's just a survival block game. But it's so well done, and the idea is so unique and amazing that it's just brilliant job by Notch.
proper use of early access. Development methodologies differ, but one very common one is iterative development. That is, a development team moving in
Design,
cycles
test,
of
build.
design, build, test, internally outlining new features
Yeah,
that
just
they're going to
pointing
implement in any
1, 2.
given month, and then
Yeah,
working on them,
0,
testing
1,
them,
2.
and then adding them to the next patch for a game that may be in early access or maybe not. But without jumping down the rabbit hole of how all of this
Seven
works,
Days Star is
not
still
yet
looking at the
anyway,
fucking
here's what I
final
want to
game, maybe
underline. You
in
need
the
to go through
near
lots
future decades
of
or
these,
something.
a hell of a lot of these, before you even entertain the notion of going into early access. Your product needs to be quite some way through development and be a complete system full of entertaining things before you roll it out.
That's
I know that might seem obvious to the layperson, but to many
I think he's talking about it in a way that it's a product that is morally good for early access, because like 1% of early access games think about it like that. They just want a quick buck and then work on the game that they are going to eventually abandon, hopefully. Maybe. I mean, I'm say hopefully because I'm pretty sure many early access games that come out don't want to give a shit about customers. They don't care about consumers. They just want the money and want to get out immediately.
developer, that idea is near heresy because
Yes.
they're used to working with processes that count on a virtuous cycle of customer feedback as you develop your game from the very foundation.
Alpha
I'll talk
testers.
about those processes later. But what I'm asserting is that 90% of gamers just don't give a fuck about this. Something
Yeah.
like Minecraft was the exception, because even a barely built teaser version on launch is okay when the concept is unique on the market, and rarely ever is that the case anymore.
That's
Steam is just saturated with
that's
clones
not
of the
true.
same game concept,
Not most
made
situations,
easier with
though.
licensed engines and store-bought assets. And due to things like humble bundles and Steam sales, people will own most, if not all of them. When your average PC gamer
the
opens
fuck
up
was the
something on
one
Steam,
on the bottom
especially if
right?
they paid money for it, they're not looking to assist your development process. They just want their fun there and then. They just want
Yep.
a game with enough features to keep them entertained, even if it's a bit rough around the edges. Early access is your release. Therefore, you need to make sure that your development is sufficiently far enough to warrant opening the floodgates to let customers in. Your game will be on Steam with a store page and a buy button. Subreddits will
And the score button. People can shit on it openly. Guys, early access people, if your game goes on like extremely negative or highly negative, coming back from that is near impossible.
start being made by fans, wikis will start being created, tutorial videos and reviewers will
Yeah.
start giving their impressions on your game, all for a few more minutes of suckling on the advertising nipple. No amount of "it's early access" will stop the hype train if your game is not ready for scrutiny, okay? These
Yeah.
messages on the main menu, they
Don't
kind
mean
of piss
shit.
me off, actually, as a QA analyst. This idea that customers should withhold judgment until early access is
No,
complete.
we're gonna
The
fucking
onus
judge
is
the shit out of
never
it.
on the customer to be more cuddly, but for the developer to impress them, to showcase a well-built and evolving body of work with a high level of technical competence. And if you're not ready for that, then you're not ready for early
Alice in
access.
Motherland.
And if you're a developer who is typing in the comments all of the reasons why, no, it is totally fine if you go live with your second or third version with an engine that's only just barely working and with only one mob to grind and no real gameplay. And we'll just
Oh my
the rest
God,
in the
it's just
following
fucking
months. And the
similar.
agile methodology says it's okay.
Oh,
Then
boy.
if we were working for the same company, in the same building, on the same project, as part of the same team, and I'm your QA guy, expect me to take you to one side to say exactly what I've said to so many project managers over the years. You never get a second first impression.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah,
If
you
release
don't.
some buggy, boring, unstable piece of shit, then be prepared to have customers mentally file your product away towards the bottom of a pile of competing products. And if you still want to
Wait, was that Andromeda?
unstable
That's Andromeda. Oh, is it? I think so.
piece of
Because
shit,
that game
then be prepared
sucked
to have
heavily
customers
first.
mentally
It
file
came.
your product away towards the bottom of a pile of competing products. And if you still want to go ahead, negative reviews be damned, well then, let me introduce you to the second problem further down the line.
Evangelist alienation. Wait, alienation?
There's a
Alienation?
term in marketing, evangelists, referring to customers who believe strongly in your product enough to sing its praises to other people on the fence. And
Ooh.
by the nature of these things, these people typically are your first adopters,
That's
the ones who
dangerous.
buy your product first, the ones with the most
Why
playtime,
is-
the ones who stick around.
What the fuck is this game? Oh my God, it's the game that one of my friend is fucking hyping and tells everyone else to buy. It's that shitting Star Citizen, isn't it?
After each
Yeah.
patch, who are making
Fuck
and
that game.
administrating those subreddits and those wiki pages, and the ones who so often write the ever amusing, "I have several hundred or thousand hours of entertainment from this $20 that I spent on this early access title, but now I'm giving it a negative review after this one patch broke something I care about," which is tied on to my next point. If you go into early access too early, you run the risk of what I'm going to call evangelist alienation, meaning the process of turning those specific customers against you by accidentally moving further and further away from the features that attracted them to your product in the first
What did he
place.
say of it?
Too early, you run the risk of what I'm going to call evangelist alienation, meaning the process of turning those specific customers against you by accidentally moving further and further away from the features that attracted them to your products in the
Oh yeah, like Rust. Like Rust, what Rust was for me. I loved Rust for zombies. And when they removed zombies, I was like, I put the game like on a shelf for years. Because that, I didn't put a negative review, but because I played it for fucking ages. But again, like, they changed the whole game.
first
So, yeah,
place.
I get
Software
that.
is by its very nature soft, meaning that for relatively little expense, large amounts of it can be adapted and changed based on changing requirements. As
Yeah,
mentioned, There
yeah.
are indeed iterative development fundamentals
That
that
sucks.
I and many have been
I wish
trained
it wasn't
in
like that,
talk
but
about
yeah.
the virtues of doing so. But here's my point. It is possible, demonstrably possible, to go too far, to change too much, to move away from the fundamentals of your piece of software. And
Cartoon jumps.
while that can happen,
Holy shit, like Command and Conquer. Remember Command and Conquer 4? Even naming that fucking shit is like it brings anger to everyone because 3 was so fucking good. Like, oh, I miss Command and there's not been a good Command and Conquer for years. I remember General Zero Hour. I never been into Warhammer 40k. But Command and Conquer was my strategy shit, and of course a Stronghold. Who never plays a Stronghold? But Stronghold was brilliant.
naturally, as those initial user stories seem oh so high up and far away in your development database several years down the line, it is noticed even more by users who joined very, very early. But what does that matter, one might argue? Software often has to change and evolve as markets evolve.
What
and
the
new
fuck?
customers often come in and buy the product anyway. Well, it matters because of the
You can
nature
release
of the
it again
Evangelist.
in
This
10 years with the fucking classic. Oh my god, this is
type of
brilliant.
fan has the energy.
I
and the
love
time
her.
to
I love
devote
Soviet
towards
for actually
setting up
talking about
subreddits
this
and
stuff.
wikis and editing YouTube videos. Like it or not, their voices are the loudest. And so
Yeah.
if you play your cards poorly and you end up in a situation where the loudest voices are praising the older version of your game, then you end up in a situation where the people with the most energy are slamming your existing product and praising one that no longer exists. An example of this? The Culling by Xaviant, released in 2016. It's
Never
worth
seen that
remembering
game.
because of the
Never played
impressive
it.
heights it reached, followed by its spectacular nosedive. How it was in early access beta in name, but despite that, immediately started making very major changes to the fundamentals of their game design, specifically how the combat worked, the main thing for which development really should be done. The result was that the audience turned on it. Even if it was better, it didn't matter. It was different, which started a death spiral and had a situation where the loudest voices of support turned on the developer.
Into hatred.
So my point
Oh
is
my
this,
God.
by the time your product reaches early access, whatever you have is going to form the anchor of your core audience's expectations for your product. If you keep on fucking around with the anchor, then you're going to alienate people with the energy and passion to loudly bash your product,
Oh,
driving new
yeah.
customers away, making your customer reviews a total shit show.
Bring back
And
zombies to
broadly
Rust!
speaking, everything I've said here happened to the DayZ standalone. They did go into early access far too early, before their engine technology was even ready, and they've done interviews saying as much.
How early is early? Not too early. Have a base game loop functioning. It's really important. You shouldn't have a broken game available to a customer, ever.
And they
Missing content is fine. Focus on stability first. Of course, on optimization. For fuck's sake, people need to be able to play the game, to be able to give you any feedback, to fucking fix your game. Be ready to drop a patch early after. Be transparent. Shit. This is funny.
countered the
Fuck
problem
me.
of Evangelist
Disgusting.
alienation
A bit
in
too.
a bit more of a roundabout way, in the sense that the DayZ mod users had an anchor in their minds, an idea of what DayZ should be, and so when what was being developed was drastically different from what they expected, they basically turned on it. So there's more to it than that. I'll explain that soon. But for this chapter, I just wanted to talk about early access generally, because these
became
are
Arma Tree
persistent
Life.
problems in the industry. So if you're a developer or an aspiring developer, I want you to remember, early access is fine, but there is such thing as too early. Take the time to get it right, and only open the floodgates when you think your product is ready for it. Hello, Internet. It's me.
It's over? Holy shit, he doesn't he has probably the best watch time on YouTube, because he doesn't wait. He just goes to the point, go, shoot, edit, done. That's it. That's all you get. I love it. So that was Sovietwomble's DayZ video essay 1. Hopefully there is more of them that I really am interested in these like deep dives, because he's a fan and I was a fan of DayZ mod back in the day, and I want to see how deep he goes and how he's gonna bash it and actually give resolutions, hopefully. And I think that the developers should actually note this, and I think they did, because I think more people relatively are playing DayZ nowadays. I don't know. I can't get into it. It's just fuck that game. The first impression puts a like bad taste in your mouth, and then the developers just want you to get into it again, and that's kind of impossible, because there is so many other games. I just get into those. Fuck you. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and for now, have a nice and goodbye, everyone.